Thank you. Minister, I also want to raise with you the issue of tariff rate quotas for dairy farmers and the importance of ensuring those quotas primarily benefit dairy producers and processors who have been harmed more under the recent international trade agreements with retailers or distributors. As you know, Minister, Global Affairs Canada's review of the administration allocation of tariff rate quotas for dairy, poultry, and egg producers has been suspended. What will you do to ensure that the tariff rate quotas go to the dairy farmers and processors? And also, Minister, has Minister Freeland told you when the review will resume? And have you informed Minister Freeland that it should begin as soon as possible?
Thank you, Senator. So for the TRQs, I am in constant discussion with Minister Ng, and I'm really making sure that our official in the department and the stakeholders that are involved in this issue have the opportunity to speak to the people responsible, and you can be assured that we are looking at the interest of our producers in Canada.
Freeland that this is of the utmost urgency.
Absolutely, both ministers, Minister Ng and Minister Freeland.
Let me turn, we're dealing today with legislation about a dairy bill, but agriculture has been hurt across our country before and now during the pandemic. So let me turn for a minute to our grain farmers. Our grain farmers have had a lot to contend with over the last year or so. A rail strike, terrible weather conditions in the prairie provinces during the harvest. I think they called it a summer from hell, rail blockades, and punitive increase in the cost of drying grain due to your government's carbon tax. As insufficient as your government's announcement was last week, it is disgraceful that it made no mention at all of our grain farmers. The COVID-19 pandemic is putting these farms in jeopardy. Grain Farmers of Ontario says that over half of grain farmers are already seeing a reduction in sales, and a quarter of farmers are experiencing cancellation or delays of existing contracts. This organization has begun an advertising campaign to start and to get your government's attention before it is too late. Minister, can you explain why grain farmers have been ignored by your government? What are you going to do to address their concerns? And I would like some specifics, especially with respect to the funding the business risk management programs.
Thank you, Senator. So let's talk about the business risk management program that offer different type of programs. Some are there to support in the case of losing revenues. Another one is to support when they have a significant increase in some costs. Another one is there to support when they have to face a natural disaster. And another one is meant to help them save money for when it's difficult, for a difficult year. These programs are all available on an average year. It gives them $1.6 billion. And these programs are built in a way that they respond to the demand. So it could even increase, maybe double this year if it's necessary. We are working hard on this program with my provincial counterparts because, as you know, these programs are cost-shared. 60% is being paid by the federal, 40% is being paid by the provinces. So since the program have changed quite a bit in 2013 under the previous government, and the cut were about $400 million at that time. It's more difficult now during a crisis to get the support of all the province to make significant changes in this program. But they are there, they are working, and we are ready and willing to increase and to contribute to some specific ad hoc programs to support the sectors who will be hurt the most because of the COVID crisis, and this is what we have announced more recently. I'll give you the example of the grain. The amount of money that the grain sector has in their Agri-Invest account is the most significant one. I think it's over, the average is over $100,000, and I wish it's significant for the grain businesses. So I would strongly encourage them to use this money in which, you know, 50% has been provided by the government through the years for difficult years. They have access to the advance payment programs as well, and especially they all have access to a loan of up to $1 million based on their production. The first $100,000 is free of interest. For the canola producers, it's the first $400,000, which is free of interest. And they are also eligible to AgriStability. To help them, we have moved the application deadline to July 3rd. Where the provinces have agreed, they can get fast an advance payment as well of up to 75%, so either 50 or 75% depending on the province. And we have put in line a calculator, an estimator, so they can. Before saying that it doesn't work, I invite them to try it, because some have been quite surprised that the program is working. I understand they wish it was more generous, but they can get money reasonably fast through these programs right now.
I show I have 30 seconds left, Chair, so I think I will leave it at that, because I'll only get halfway through my